Be sure to check your local ordinances to make sure that having a fire is legal in the area that you're in.
Building a fire, there's 3 essential pieces. You'll need kindling, which is going to be dried bark, pine needles, leaves, something that'll burn quickly. Tinder, small sticks, something a little more stable that'll burn a little bit longer than kindling. And then you'll need fuel wood. So as you can see here, I've got my kindling set up. So we can try and start burning that. The issue is I have a good amount of tinder, which is over there, but I'm going to need smaller fuel logs. If I get a small fire going, these big logs won't be able to catch. So the next thing we're going to show you is how to utilize an axe to split wood to create some logs about that size. Alright, so step 1, you're going to stand your log up on end like I have here. About an axe distance away. That's really all there is to splitting wood. Alright, now I've got all my components gathered up, so we're going to run through them one more time. In the pit here, we have kindling, which is pine needles, and I have some dried bark. Should get going pretty good. And again, the purpose of kindling is that's going to burn fast. That's going to get your fire going. And we have tinder here. This is small sticks, little heavier pieces of bark, things like that, that are going to burn a little bit longer. And kindling. And we have our small fuel wood, which will, things like this, that's going to be able to burn long enough to catch this, which in turn will catch this. You have to build small to big. So taking our small fuel logs, and then we'll stack them, so we'll get our big fuel logs going. Alright, we'll just hit on these pretty quick here. Things I won't use in this video in particular, but to the left here we have a fire starter, and here we have charcoal starter fluid, which is an accelerant. Use it for barbecues and things. But both of those will help you get your fire going faster and a little more efficiently. Now here what we have is just a matchbook and a grill lighter there. There's lots of different things you could get your fire going with, including, even some primitive tools like a bow and drill. But for the purpose of this, I will be using this lighter here. So we'll get that going pretty shortly here.
When working with primitive fire starting tools, it's imperative that you have all of your materials laid out beforehand, even more so when using modern tools. So when using a bow and drill, you need a fireboard, a drill, a handhold, a bow and a bowstring, a coal catcher, and a tinder bundle ready to catch the hot coals that form. Once you have all your materials, the first step is going to be to carve a small starter hole in the top of the fireboard about 1 inch from the edge of the fireboard to fit the bottom of the drill. Now you can wrap the drill into the bowstring so that the string wraps around the drill once, very tightly. It should be somewhat difficult to twist the drill into place. Now place the bottom of the drill into the fire barred starter hole and put the handhold on the top of the drill. Keep the drill straight upward, perpendicular to the ground. Step 2 in using a fireboard is if you are right-handed, put your left foot on the fireboard. Use your other foot if you are left-handed, close to the place where the drill will spin. Then place your left hand on the handhold so that your wrist is tight against your shin. This will help you keep the drill steadier as it spins and allow for more even downward pressure. Move your right leg back behind you so your knee rests on the ground. This will create space for bowing and help stabilize your position. Now you can grasp the bow with your right hand. Start moving the bow slightly back and forth. Take it slow at first and then gradually increase your speed. Keep going for a little while until you see smoke coming from where the drill and the fireboard meet, and then stop. Step 3 is to take the drill off the fireboard and out of the handhold. Carve a pie slice shaped notch into the fireboard where the drill is rotating on the fireboard. This notch should form a little wedge that is broadest at the edge of the board and sharply tapers to a point just short of the center of the socket you just burned into the board. This will allow the fine wood dust to collect in a pile. This is where the coal will form. Make sure you have the coal catcher positioned right under this notch so that the dust will collect on it. This way you can move the coal into the tinder bundle with ease. Step 4, now you can return to bowing. Again, start off moving the bow slow, smooth, and flowing movements, keeping it parallel to the ground. Keep moving the bow in a steady, rhythmic flowing motion, speeding up as you go. Once you start seeing a lot of smoke, you can start speeding up even faster and applying more downward pressure with your handhold. As it starts to smoke a lot, you might be tempted to stop, but keep going. Keep going until you get tired and you have to stop. Check the darkness of your dust, the darker the better. You need to look closely now, and if you see the little dust pile is making smoke on its own, if you see smoke coming from your dark dust pile, you'll likely have a coal. Step 5, you're going to let the coal sit there and burn a little bit until you can see the tiny orange glow of the coal growing. Now you can carefully move the coal in its dust and transfer it into the center of the tinder bundle. Shape the tinder bundle into a nest shape and partially enclose the coal. And gently and steadily blow on the coal until it bursts into flames. Now with this, you should be able to build your fire by nestling the burning tinder bundle into a well-made wood teepee of woody material. It is best if they are stacked so the finest materials are on the inside and the wood pieces are progressively larger as they go out. Like we talked about, you want to build small to large, and this is especially important in this case. Using a bow and drill is just one example of a primitive fire starter. Shown here we have a convex lens used to start a fire. This is a method called a fire plow. Finally, we have pictured a flint and steel.
Okay, so moment of truth, we're gonna get our kindling going here. This is my lighter lights. We got smoke. So we're starting to take off, so at this point I'm gonna start putting on some of my tinder fuel. So hopefully that'll give us more of a stable fire. Now, while we're doing this, it's always a good idea to keep some newspapers around so you can kind of fan your flame, get some more oxygen going. Also makes for a good thing to kind of stick in there and get it going again if you need to. But it looks like we're moving along pretty good here. What I've done at this point is I've added some of our smaller fuel logs here. Put even a larger one out. Let's see. Just let that keep going, and we'll start moving to some of our larger fuel logs here pretty shortly. So the one thing I want to talk about real fast as we're sitting here with our fire burning is you want to be able to get airflow into that flame. I mean, if you can see, those trees are moving around pretty good, and I'm sure you can hear the wind over my speaker. But it's very important that oxygen be able to flow into those logs and into the coals themselves. Otherwise, the fire just won't burn. So our fire's going pretty good here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to throw some of our larger fuel logs on. It's important to realize again that you have to build your fire from small to large. So if we throw on our largest log here, like that, that probably won't burn through a flame that size. So we're probably going to go with this one here, which is quite a bit smaller, but still large enough. Place it right there, and we'll give it another couple minutes here and we'll check back in and see how we're doing. So if I was going to keep this fire going, I would start adding more logs to it. But for the purpose of the video, teach you how to build a fire, we have successfully built a fire. So next thing we're going to do is cover extinguishing a fire. Alright, so here I have my handy dandy fire poker, and what we're going to do is we're going to spread our flaming logs out and disperse them evenly. I've got this bucket of water here, and we're basically just going to dump it on there. The one thing you need to be careful of is steam, because you will get steam burns if you dump this directly over your hand or something. Now, being it is so windy out here, we need to make sure that we've extinguished all of the coals. So that's part of the reason we spread out those logs earlier, so we can see everything that's happening underneath there. So check back once all this smoke clears. Alright, so we've got some steam and some smoke rising out, but as you can see, there are no flaming coals in there right now. So we're going to call that one good. Alrighty, so that has been how to build a fire and apparently extinguish it as well. So, alright. When you're putting out the campfire, make sure you keep plenty of water handy and have a shovel for throwing dirt on the fire if it gets out of control. Drown the fire out with water. Make sure all the embers and sticks are wet, and move rocks. There may be burning embers underneath. Stir the remains up. That's not something I said in the video, but stir the remains, add more water, and stir again. That way all those embers are out. Alright, now we're going to talk about a few campfire safety tips. You want to build your fires in areas away from overhanging trees and on flat ground. You want to clear the area of all leaves and wood laying around. You want to make sure your fire area is ringed with rocks or bricks or some kind of containment. You want to keep your fire small. You don't want to let it get out of control or too large. Never leave your fire unattended. You want to have water and a shovel on hand so you can put it out if things go hairy on you. Put out your fire at the first sign of increased winds or changes in directions, especially in the woods. That's important.